Hey there, Buddy Power here, and welcome back. Today I'm going to spend a little bit of time just messing around in the Star Citizen modules, the Arena Commander. I guess it's the Arena Commander slash Hangar module. So these are the first two parts of the Star Citizen game that are currently available. Initially, they came out with the Hangar module. That was about 6, maybe 7 months back, which is pretty much what you would expect. It's the hangar where your ships are going to sit, and depending on what you bought in, the size of your ships and everything, you got a different hangar. I have, I believe, the most basic and the smallest hangar. You can see here I have room for 4 ships. I got two 300Is. I don't know why I have two of them. They gave me the one I actually bought, which is this one right here, and then they give you a training version, which is basically the 300i without all the accessories, which is this one here. We also have a little bit of a targeting dummy down there. We have a fish tank, some basic other items, and overall, I mean, it's neat to see, but it's all just frills and frivolous stuff. But it's nice. They have gone into some incredible detail on these ships. At least mine, I have to imagine all of them are pretty much the same. We have our nose cannon here, and you can see underneath here there's an actual mount point for it. So this cannon will be swappable later on when the full game comes out. You'll be able to put different type of cannons in here. Same with the side guns, the missile turrets, even the entire engine will be swappable. You'll be able to drop this engine out and put a whole different engine up in there. And it's impressive the detail they have gone into with this. I mean, the hydraulic system here for the landing gear, it's well, we'll talk a bit more about some of the details they've gone into later on. What else do we have to see here? Well, we have this menu here that I believe is going to eventually be used for customizing our craft. So we start off here with ships. You can see here the 300i trainer, and then the weapon mount. Can then drag this over, and I imagine eventually this is going to have like a list of my weapons, a list of my ammo, and all of this. So right now we just have a 20 millimeter tungsten box, whatever that is, yeah, and so forth. So I think this is eventually how we're going to go through and adjust our ships. I do like this effect that when you activate this, they lower the lights in the rest of the hangar, which is pretty neat. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Go ahead and bring that back. Got a little chest here with some basic gear in it, some boots, some shoulder pads, 2 pairs of boots. I don't know why. I guess this is supposed to be my shore leave outfit. If I hit insert here, you can kind of see my guy. He's wearing a spacesuit right now, minus his helmet. We got a fish tank. This reminds me of Mass Effect quite a bit. The fish tank here. We can also climb up here. We can get up on this upper part. Now, overall, the game, you can't really call it a game at this point. The module, it looks fantastic, but it's a little junky. The movement's a little rough. You can kind of tell here when I'm spinning around. The movement's a little, I don't know, it's just not very fluid, and it's running actually at a pretty good FPS. I'm getting right now anywhere from like 45 to 60 FPS, and the video's capturing at about 30. When I run here, I'm down to about 49 and everything. So the FPS does fluctuate a little bit. You can see down into the cockpit there. That's pretty neat. But overall, the FPS is up there higher than I would expect for how good some of this stuff looks. There's just little things like the bob on the run. I don't like that. I wish I could turn off the run bob. There's things. Whoop, that was not what I meant to do, but okay. I don't know. Just the character movement feels a little wonky. In fact, if I hit insert, we go back to third person mode. You can kind of see here, they just don't quite have the stride and everything worked out. Not a big deal. I mean, the game's still in alpha. It's not even in alpha yet. It's in, closed behind doors builds and everything. But it's something to keep in mind. Down here is another one of those fancy little things. And this is a neat little recently added item. So we can lower this seat down, and we can go ahead and hit F, climb inside this, and Can I hit insert while we're doing that? No, can't do that. It's going to come up. And now we have a little targeting dummy thing we can do here. So we can mess around with the weapons. Now the UI for this does not seem to fit what I have, which is a little strange considering I am running at 1080p. I cannot hit insert here to go into third person mode, which is a little strange. But yeah, this is just a fancy little targeting test dummy something. I don't know. It's a nice feature. And overall, so before I go too far into this, I do have a minor gripe, well, it's not a gripe, concern. They're adding in a lot of really interesting features. There's a lot of great features they're working on, but I'm concerned that they're spreading themselves thin. And this is completely baseless, I admit that. It's just, looking at it from the outside, I see a lot of these, like that little robot down there, that fish tank there, the helmet that we'll be putting on here in a little bit. These are a lot of really nice little neat touches that I would expect to come at the end of the development process. I would figure once they have the heart of the game running, then you add in all these little touches, these flair things to flesh out the game. And they seem to be putting them in way earlier than I would expect. And I'm worried that they're focusing more on the little oohs and shinies that they can show off to the public. And I don't see the game progressing quite as much as I would have expected. The Arena Commander module came out a good 6 months later than we expected. 4 months. We were supposed to get it back around the holidays, and we didn't get it until, I believe, May. So 4 or 5 months late. Let's go ahead and... I'm just showing off here that the 300i and the 300i trainer actually have two different dashboards. So here's the 300i trainer. This is the training one. It's got a neat little dashboard here and everything folds out. Very functional, reasonable dashboard that you might expect to see somewhere in the future. It doesn't really tell us a whole bunch of what we have, but it works. It gets the job done as you might expect. So, back on my previous topic. I kind of wish they had been putting more of their efforts into the key components. I wish that this wasn't as delayed as it was. I wish that they had been focusing more on the world. Now, I am no programmer, I'm no developer. Perhaps the artists, I mean, obviously the graphical artists, the guys creating this, the guys that are creating the map and everything, creating that neat little whatever this terminal is over here, didn't require a whole lot of programming. But it required times from the graphical artists. Creating the cockpit area didn't require a whole lot of programming, but it required time from the graphical artists. Perhaps the programmers are working on the universe, they're working on the flight mechanics and all that, while the artists are doing all this other stuff. If that's what's going on, I withdraw any hesitation and everything about it. It just seems a little odd to see things like this fish tank inside the hangar way before we see a functioning version of the game. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's actually get into some more. So before we can do anything, we got to go ahead and we got to put on our helmet, which is pretty neat. He's going to go ahead and he's going to flip it around and put it on. And once it's actually on, we gain this neat little, if we look down and look up, we can actually see part of the helmet. If we hit insert now and come out, you can see I actually have a helmet on. Unfortunately, I can't turn my view around like that. And we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to take off in the primary, the actual flight ship. Go ahead and climb up in here. Now, the 300i, I'm not actually 100% sure. I seem to remember this was kind of considered not a recon, but a luxury, not a luxury, but a transport, a personal transport / recon / exploration ship. So it doesn't have the best armament. It's got a moderate cargo hold. You can see here there's not a whole lot of room to live, but there is a cargo hold, I believe, underneath me is where that'll be. I don't even know if I can access it. I've never tried. Let's see if there's any other access points. We'll climb back out of here. Basically, I'm just pointing out what type of ship it is we're going to be flying and everything. Now, the reason I got the 300i is nothing spectacular. I like the look of it. I also liked the price tag of it. Mainly, I was looking to buy in about somewhere between $50 and $60 is what I was looking to invest in Star Citizen, and that's why I got this one over a different module. That was how much I felt I wanted to back them, about the price of a full game, and so forth. Does not look like I can open anything else up, but you get the idea what it is. It's not a dogfighter. It's not the Hornet. And it's not a deep space exploration ship. It's just kind of an all-purpose general utility fancy ship. Now we'll see here, this cockpit's a little bit different. It's got these pop-out panels that come out, and I believe they're going to produce holographic information then. Once we're actually out there, that's what that will do. Okay, so the current loadout is basically there is going to be a multiplayer version of the alpha. I have not been invited to that yet. So we're going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to fly the drone sim. And initially, we're just going to go out into free flight mode. Let's go ahead and we'll do Broken Moon and launch. And we are back. I apologize. I'm actually in the drone mode. So I loaded into the other mode, and it kind of bugged out on me. Basically, my center crosshair here, you see me moving around, was not there, and things were just not running. It is an alpha, so it's not all that surprising. And actually, let me tell you, if you're having the same problem as me where your crosshair disappears, there's a pretty easy fix. You want to go into your Star Citizen folder and then the Citizen client, and inside there you're going to find a folder labeled User. It's just called User. It's all caps. Delete that folder and relaunch the game. It'll reset all these options, and it'll bring back your crosshair, and all of that. It does other things too. When you can't do that, you can't target enemies. They'll fly around, and you just can't target them. You can't shoot missiles. You can't do any of that stuff. So, all right. Well, here we are. We're actually in, and it's pretty good, I gotta say. I might have to turn the volume down a little bit more. Let me do a little bit of that there. There we go. So, the actual gameplay, like right now, I'm running at a pretty smooth 55 FPS while recording. So I'd be right around 60 without recording, as I lose about 5 or so when I record. And it looks good. At least to me, it looks good. If we come around here, ooh, come here. Where are you at, buddy? Let's see if we can target that guy. Target him. Why? Come on, missile. There we go. Goodbye. The things that I really like, and I have to say, this mode, it's pretty generic. Once there's multiplayer, once I get access to that, I'm going to bring in some of the multiplayer footage up. I think that's going to be really good. Fighting the drones is pretty repetitive. They're pretty dumb. I've made it through something like 25 rounds before I finally died, which is pretty insane. In fact, normally I end up dying from flying into a meteor more than anything else. Or I actually overshoot my weapon and kill myself that way. Woo! So we just almost flew into that debris. So, the game itself, I was talking earlier about how I'm a little concerned of where they might be spending their money on, or focusing on the frivolous stuff. Well, there is some actual, of the hardcore stuff that they've really done quite well. For example, the actual ships, the mechanical part of the ships and the damage model is insanely detailed. You can lose like single vectoring thrust engines and everything, and your ship will just go spiraling out of control. You can go ahead and you'll lose one weapon. You can fire your weapons to where they overheat, and if you continue to fire them when they overheated, they'll actually explode and damage your ship. Your shields, as you take damage, they break down in a predictable manner, and then they recharge in a predictable manner. It's well done. It really, really is. Now, everything we got to keep in mind, though, this is basically alpha. For all intents and purposes. It's an alpha version of the game, so there are some bugs here and there. For example, my missiles don't always lock on. Like right there, I was trying. It took me about 5 clicks in order to get the missile to lock, or to begin locking on. I mean, so it was just kind of hanging out there, wouldn't do anything. Now I'm going to go ahead, and this next match I'm not going to engage directly. If I go ahead and I hit insert a few times, in fact, you can already see right there, I've lost part of my fuselage there. I've lost one of my missile pods. I didn't even know I'd lost that. If we hit around here, something else you'll notice, so there on the left and right of my cockpit are 2 little thruster engines. So one of the other things to keep in note about this, and it's not the only inbound missile. Oof, somebody's launching missiles at me. Where are you at, buddy? Come here, come back here. I wasn't looking to fight you, but okay. Alright, we'll fight, we'll fight. What was I saying? Okay. Something else to keep in mind about this game is, and it's not the only one, I know that there was actually recently an article about it, I think on PC Gamer, that made it sound like it was one of the few ones to do this. But it is worth noting that this does use Newtonian flight models. Ooh, we are getting lit up. What's going on here? Oh, there, we just lost our engine. Wow. Yep, we're dead in the water. So there's nothing we can do now. We have lost our primary engine, and we're going to just kind of fly here until I respawn or die. What was I saying? So this does use... Can I not respawn? Thought there was a key for respawning. Key binding. Maybe eject. Eject! 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 Let me out! You know what? I might not be able to eject out of this ship. We might as well just watch ourselves die. Wow, that was pretty good. What was I saying? So this does use a Newtonian physics model. Basically what it means is zero-G flight simulator. Many of the space simulators out there, I would say more than half of them, actually, even in space, they use traditional in-atmosphere flight mechanics. So you have an up, a down, your ship's going to you're going to have different G's as you pull around and everything, and your ship's going to react as if it was in atmosphere. Star Citizen does not do that. There we go. Now we're back in. Alright, punk. You shot me down. Now I gotta find you. Where are you at? There you are. Yeah. Thought I was just saying, too, that these guys aren't all that tough. That was a pretty good example, though, of how the ships break down. It's pretty... That model that they did there was pretty detailed. The thrust vectoring model is pretty awesome. I had one point where all of the well, there we go, we're dead again. Where all of the vectoring engines on one side of my ship got destroyed, and my ship just went into this corkscrew because of it. Again, very detailed, amazingly well done, especially for an alpha. The other thing that's great is the heads-up display on the ships. These things are really good. I can actually cycle through different versions of it, showing my different weapons. So you can see there are the different charges on it and everything I have. You can see my missile pods down below. This is actually a good one for flying, as they're energy-based. Here's my other weapons. This is the health of my weapons. And this is my shields. That's right. Let's go back to this one. Where is the enemy ship? It's behind me. Behind me. There we are. Oh, he's coming right for me. Now, the whole thing I am doing, I am actually playing with keyboard and mouse. They do also have controller support, and you can get joysticks to work too. Now, the joysticks, I believe you currently have to configure them through a text document, an actual configure file. The UI for configuring controls has not been implemented yet. So as you saw here, key bindings are pretty straightforward. There's no changing these in-game, though. To change them, you have to go through a config file and all of that. They work well enough. If you're used to any type of flight simulator, space simulator, where, you know, you look and you're going to go there. And that works well enough in space. Let's see, scavenger. Let's see, scavenger. They're all scavengers, okay. I was just looking for any elite ships in that, so hopefully we didn't get hit again. Normally it's like the heavier waves is like 2 waves of default, or 2 defaults and 2 elites. I don't know if that makes sense. So, overall, we're still a year and a half out. Nah, we're probably a year and a half to 2 years out from the full version of this game. But what we have so far is pretty darn impressive. It's definitely a little wonky. It could use some polish. It could use some... Ah, that's what that is. Okay, so I got it now. I'm still figuring some things out about my ship and its overheating. Let's see if we can see a UI that's showing me temperatures. Not that one, not that one, not that one. This, my nose gun overheats faster than it runs out of ammo, so I can actually blow myself up with it. I have to keep an eye on it, but I don't see a heat sensor anywhere to tell me what it is. I just have to listen to the little lady yell at me. Come on, buddy. I got you. If we can do it without flying through their debris and everything. The real teller is going to be the PvP. I do also wish... So, you know, all we have is a dogfighting module here. I kind of wish at least some of the basic craft were available, even if you didn't own them. You know, I'd like to fly the Hornet, which is the actual fighter jet. I would like to try some of the other ones. It would convince me of if I want to buy them or not. But to just have only the one like that craft there on the upper left-hand corner, that is a Hornet. I understand don't give us access to this on the servers when you get to the primary game and everything, but to have access to them now during the dogfight simulator or the arena commander, I think would be a good move. It would open up, it would add more content to this for people that have already bought in. It would give them more content for within the game to mess around with. It would show off craft as they release to convince them if they want to buy them or not. It would just be an all-around good move for them. They don't have to add them to the hangar, just let you select them from a menu when you go ahead and go to jump in. I think that would be a great move. I also think they need to start updating the little stuff a little less. At least for me. I know that sounds weird. I don't want to see more fish in my fish tank or anything before I get more of a playable game. And I don't know what it is about that. It just... in my mind, I don't want that stuff now. I want that stuff at the end. I don't want a golf cart to drive around in my hangar. I want you guys... I want the space guy... the Roberts Space Industries guys working on the primary guts of the game more than on those little frivolous things. In the meantime, though, I'm going to be eagerly awaiting the multiplayer invite from my little commander here. I want to start dogfighting with some actual players. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that could be real interesting. Every time I play the game, I learn a little bit more. There are a few little bugs, like I said, that have to be worked out. Delete that user folder if you lose your GUI or your crosshair like I did. But all in all, the key parts of this game, the flight mechanics, the damage model, the ship details, all of that stuff is top notch, and they're in the process of making something that is going to be pretty darn amazing. So, let's see if can I do it through here. Nope, that won't work. Whee! Let's go ahead and take out one more wave. Vandal, scavenger. All scavengers. Where'd you go? Alright, missile time. And lock. Oh, what was that? I think I just learned something else new. If I hold down missile, Come on.
Achieved missile launch.
If I hold the missile fire button, I get a kill camera. There you go. Something else new you learn. Always something you learn. See, that's a nice little feature, I guess. Okay, I like that. I take back everything I said. Go ahead and keep making the little thriftless things. That was pretty awesome. A missile tracking cam. That works. Alright, everyone. I think that'll do it. I will be coming back to this overall over time as they release more updates for it, as we see more of the game coming out, because I have real high hopes for this. So stay tuned. There will be more Star Citizen content eventually. Till then, though, this has been Power. Thanks for watching.